Welcome to Vaibhavshali Prachin Lipi Trust. Please subscribe our channel and click on the bell icon to get further notification. Persian language, also called Farsi, member of the Iranian branch of the Indo-Iranian language family. It is the official language of Iran, and two varieties of Persian known as Dari and Tajlik are official languages in Afghanistan and Tajikistan respectively. Modern Persian is most closely related Middle and Old Persian, formal languages of the region of Fars, that is Persia, in southwestern Iran. It is thus called Farsi by native speakers. Written in Arabic characters, modern Persian also has many Arabic loanwords and an extensive literature. Old Persian, spoken until approximately the 3rd century BCE, is attested by numerous inscriptions written in cuneiform, most notable of which is the great monument of Darius I at Bisitun, Iran. Middle Persian spoken from the 3rd century BCE to the 9th century CE, which is Common Era, is presented by numerous epigraphic texts of Sasanian kings written in Aramaic script. There is also a varied literature in Middle Persian embracing both the Zoroastrian, the Manichaean religious traditions. Modern Persian grammar is in many ways much simpler than its ancestral forms. Having lost most of the inflectional systems of the older varieties of Persian, Persian is a language with an extremely rich history, literature, and cultural tradition. Besides its huge impact on modern literature, Persian has its own prominent place in poetry. Khayyam, Sadi, and Hafiz are only few were the major figures of this big family. The importance of this language goes beyond its political significance. Many modern words and ideas which we are used to call our own were indeed shaped in classical Greece. The word Persia is one of those. 2500 years ago, the Greeks had their first contact with the Persians. At that time, the Persians were at the head of the huge empire that stretched from Greece to India and from the Caspian Sea to the Persian Gulf. This empire, that is Achaemenid Empire, during its expansion westwards, eventually came across the Greeks. We all know what happened next. Besides having tremendous political and cultural implications, the Graeco-Persian Wars were also reflected upon in the Greek literature. Aeschylus, one of the three famous classical Greek playwrights, dedicated one of his tragedies to the Greek victory at Salamis. He entitled this tragedy The Persians, or Persai in Greek. Following him was the father of history, Herodotus, who freely used this name in his histories. Since then, it continued to be extensively used and later was borrowed by the Romans. And through Latin, the language of religion and science in medieval Europe, penetrated into English. Other than its international importance, Persian language has long history in Indian subcontinent. Though it is difficult to digest the fact that Farsi is also considered as one of the Indian language group is an interesting historical fact. It was brought in by Central Asians during the 12th century and played a role very similar to the English does in modern India. So in 17th century, when Marathi-speaking Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj wanted to communicate with Rajasthani-speaking Jai Singh, the general of the Mughal army in the Deccan, they used Farsi. The elite of 19th century Bengal were bilingual in Farsi, that is Persian in English, and Bangla. Raja Ram Mohan Roy edited and wrote in Farsi newspaper, and the favorite poet of Debendranath Tagore, that is Rabindranath's father, was Hafiz, a 14th century poet from Iran. So impactful was Farsi's role that India's largest language today, Hindi, takes its name from a Farsi word meaning Indian. With the coming of the Raj, English replaced Farsi, but pockets of the language still survive in India. Today, more than 120 million people speak Persian as their first or second language. By the number of its speakers and its influence, it is the most widespread language in the Middle East along with Arabic. Major news broadcasters like BBC, DW, or Euronews have Persian language service. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon. Also, do not forget to see our latest and other videos to get more information. Stay connected. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.